Hello everyone, it is Teresa from Teresa's Spot for all things art. I love sharing art from my heart and teaching you how to create a little joy in your life through some simple, fun and quick, easy art projects. So today we are going to turn this into this. Are you ready? Let's get started. Let me put this up here so I can use it for reference. Okay, I have out my colors. Let me turn my camera around. I put out my first few colors. I have white, red, yellow, and then this really pretty Bahama blue. Okay, we're going to start with our sky. We need to blend our sky into our water, and then we're going to add our sand. Okay, so when you do this, you need to work wet on wet. When we want to blend, we want to work wet on wet. So I'm just making a very light pink over here. I barely put my brush in the water, in the red paint, and I'm making a pink. I'm pulling out white and I'm making pink. Okay, if you have pink, go right ahead and use it. But if you don't have pink, here you go. All right, so I'm going to start up here and I'm just going to start lightly, pick up some more, brushing this pink across the top of my canvas. Okay, again, when we want to blend, we want to paint wet on wet. I'm going to hop over my pineapple top, but I don't have to do it like all detailed and whatnot. I just want to make sure that I go around it, but you want to be able to see the lines. And as I work my way down, I'm adding more and more white to my brush. So let's get around here. I can still see my sun. You should still be able to see your sun. And if you get some paint on your umbrella or you get some paint up in your pineapple, it is all okay because we're going to come back and we're going to cover that up. That's why we work in sections. And I want my design to start out dark and get lighter as I go on. So I started up here with the darker pink that I created, and then as I worked my way down, I only added white into my dirty brush. And so when I got down here to my horizon line, it was much lighter. If you don't have that nice variation in there, you can pick up more white and add it in here, or you can pick up some more dark and add it into the top. Totally up to you. Okay, so I'm going to wash my brush. Give it a nice squeeze dry, and I'm going to pick up some yellow. So I'm going to use my flat brush for this yellow, and this is just the first coat. We just want to place our sun where it needs to go. And the easiest way I feel to paint a circle, stand your brush up and twist it around between your thumb and your forefinger, and then go the opposite way. Okay, so now I have my sun where it needs to be. It's not perfect, but we're going to come back to that. We just wanted some placement. I'm going to wash my brush again. And now we're going to do the same thing that we did with the sky, but now we're going to do it with the water. So I'm going to pick up some of this blue. I want to get a line in here so I know where I'm painting. And again, we're going to start out with the deepest shade of blue up top, and as we work our way down towards the sand, we're going to gradually start to add some white. Okay, now if you want to paint the edges of your canvas, you can leave them blank, you can paint a design on the edges, you can have your color wrap around, so up here would be pink and here would be blue. Totally up to you. And I like to, when I'm painting, I'm marking out my blue. There's some details in here, and I want to know exactly where my blue has to go around it. So I know when I come up in here, or at least I try, I know where I have to put the blue and where I have to skip. Again, it's okay if you go outside the lines when we are patient and let paint dry. We can fix anything, so by the time you got to somewhere where you went outside the lines, it'll be dry and you can fix it. So there's no need to panic now and be like, oh no, I got blue on my flip-flops. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm just coming in here with the blue, and now I want to start adding some white. So I'm just going to take my dirty brush and I put a corner in the white. I have my blue and I have my white on my brush, and I'm just going to start adding in the white. You want your lines, like your sky, to be vertical. If you have to go around little edges to get in the nooks and crannies, that's okay. But when you come back, you want your lines to be all, did I say vertical? You want your lines to be horizontal. I meant horizontal. So the lines in the sky and the lines down here are the water. You want them all to go the same way, and in this case it would be horizontal. So I'm just continuing to pick up some white on my dirty brush and adding it in here. And when I add the white, I go up and then I come back down. Brush. And this time, instead of starting with the color up top, I'm going to start with the white. I want my sand to get darker as it goes down. And remember, you can hit pause on this video anytime you want. Take a break, catch up, whatever you need to do. Okay, I want the top of my sand to be lighter. Oh, I just realized I made my water too deep. So I have to come back up here and go over this part. We have more sand up here. I thought it was water. So we have this part is now white for our sand, and as we work our way down here, we're picking up some tan, and we want down here to be a little bit darker than the top part with the sand. And I'm doing the same thing we did up top, but this way we're going from light to dark instead of dark to light. And we want different shades and variations in our sand. I'm gonna come up here, I'm just gonna add a little bit of the tan on my white brush now to fill all this in. I have to wait for that to dry a little bit to go over it. Okay. And then down here we just want it a little bit darker. Right? I'm going to put in my brown because we're going to get started on our table, but I want to first show you what we're going to do in our sand on the bottom. So I'm going to dip my brush into this. I'm going to tap it off a little bit, and then I want to add just some random dark patches down in here. I'm using the brush on the chisel edge. I'm picking up some dark paint, and we just want to make like a little design in the sand with some dark spots. Not too many. Maybe lighten up as we go out here. Using my brush standing up and just in a pouncing motion, just to make some variation and some darkness into our sand. Okay, now I'm going to wash my brush because we need a smaller brush. Okay. So, I'm going to go into my dark brown, and I'm just going to start carefully base coating in the picnic table. All these cross areas. This little corner. This little corner. Up here. And then our whole tabletop. And this is just base coating in. It does not have to be perfect. Just, you know, try and be neat. Get your line as straight as possible up here. And then the one down here on the bottom. And I'm going to show you how we're going to shade the difference between the base and the tabletop. Okay? But I'm going to go back now. I'm going to add a second coat to the brown. Make sure all our brush strokes are going the same way. And get a nice even coat in there. Okay? Now we have our tabletop and the base of our table painted in. We got a little bit of black. Now with our dirty brush, I'm just going to pick up a little bit of black on one side of my brush, and I want to come in here and I want to shade part of the leg. I'm going to do the same thing here, do the same thing here, do the same thing here, and I'm just using the black to the outer edge. I'm going back over my legs, and I'm just adding a little dark where it would be shaded underneath the table. Every time I do it, I flip my brush over so I have the black where I want it to be. And I'm going to come in here, I'm going to add a little shadow underneath the tabletop. And then just a little bit down here. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to put a nail here. Hold the table together. And I do that with the back of the brush. I'm going to wash my brush. Okay. Okay. The next step is I want to get my yellow paint again. I'm going to come back in here and paint over the center of my sun. If your paint is dry, your pink, it's a totally good time to do it. Repaint the center, then pick up white and make your sun a little bit bigger by making a white circle around it and then blending it in. So the inside of your circle is very bright, and then your outside gets a little bit duller, whiter, whatever. More pastel. Now I'm going to come in here, I'm going to start base coating in my drink and my pineapple. Again, this is just color blocking, filling it in. And once you get it all filled in, then you want to make your lines go the same way. Okay? So once I figure out where my yellow is going to be, I get my lines nice in there, then I want my brush strokes to all go the same way. And with this, it doesn't matter as much as it does on the horizon and the water. As long as they all go the same way, they can all be horizontal or they all can be vertical. It's up to you. Okay? I'm going to get out my greens. I don't even have to wash my brush. I'm going to pick up the dark green and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to start base coating in my pineapple top. I'm just following the curve of the points of the leaves and pulling in. So now that I've gotten the shape, I'm going to go back and I'm going to pull in all the strokes to the middle. So both sides get pulled in from the point to the middle. And pick up a little bit of the light green and go back and add that in. Pick up a little bit more. And again, they all get pulled in to the middle. And we're going to leave our pineapple top like that for now because we have to get back to it. While I have my brush, I'm going to pick up a little bit of this blue. I want to do my umbrella top, but I don't want it to be like totally green or totally blue. So I'm making like a mint color over here. I'm mixing my dirty green brush with some of the blue. And I'm going to come in here, I'm going to paint in my umbrella. Okay, I'm going to wash my brush. I'm going to go back to my big brush now. Rinse it out. Okay. All right. So we need to make a little bit more pink. Like I said, if you have pink, you can use it. That's totally fine. I'm just going to pick up a corner with my brush. I'm going to come over here and I'm mixing in with my white to make a nice pink. This time I'm going to do the flip-flop, so we need a little bit more paint. Your pink can be as dark or as light as you want. If you have two pinks, use two pinks. You just have red and white, make different shades. Okay. So I'm going to start base coating in my flip-flops. And this is why I said it doesn't matter if you go over the lines. Now that we're painting in our flip-flops, you can see how we cover up some of, if not all, the mistakes we had before where we went over the lines where we didn't mean to. So you really don't need to get too excited about the first few steps when we're just getting our colors where they need to be. Because when we come back and start adding in all the details, we can fix anything. So the beginning of our project, when we're just adding in our colors, can go rather quickly. Now when we're doing the elements, or painting in our pineapples, or painting in our leaves, our flip-flops, that's when you can now fix things, take your time and make sure you have your colors where you need them to be. All right, so this is just the base coat of our flip-flops. I'm going to get a little bit more red because now I want a darker red, or not a darker red, I guess a darker pink, because I want to add some stripes to my flip-flops and I want them to stand out. So I'm just coming right across here with this darker color, and I'm going to start adding some stripes. Okay, pick up some of this, go across. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If yours don't line up so perfect, it's okay. And then just down here a little bit. My brush is too wide. I could get a different brush if I wanted to, but I'm going to just do that. Okay, now we're going to let that dry a little bit. We need to add some details to that. I'm going to go to my liner brush. When we use our liner brush, we like to get it wet. We want all the fibers of our brush to come together. And when we use our liner brush, we want to twirl it between our thumb and our pointer. We want to get a nice point on there. We want our fibers to be nice and neat. Okay. And I'm going to start outlining in my pineapple. So I'm going to put down my pinky for balance. And I'm just going to start outlining and adding in some of our details. And this is when you're going to see your art really come to life. We want to then curve these a little bit. These do not have to be exact. You want to try and make them the same distance apart, but again, they do not have to be exact. And then when we come this way, we want them to meet. So I'm going to come over here. We want our ends to meet. Again, we just want to go the little curve, make them somewhat the same distance, and go across. Not perfect, but cool. All right. Then we're going to come around here and we're going to outline our flip-flops. Now, if you can't do one whole line, that's totally okay. You can do it in short spurts, a couple of inches at a time or 1 inch at a time. It's totally up to you. If you can't just go whoosh around, then you just come in here and you do little short lines where they meet up with each other and overlap a little bit. Okay? I'm going to put the tab here. If you can't see your lines, you might want to stop, dry your painting, and put your tracer back on. But I can see them. I'm going to hold my liner brush flat with a lot of pressure. I want my line to be thick, but as I come up here to the thong part, I'm going to release the pressure on my brush. So when it gets closer up here to the top of the flip-flop part, the thong part, it looks like a big wishbone, and it's skinnier at the top and fatter at the bottom. Again, a lot of pressure, squish down my brush, and as I get closer up here, I lift it up so the stroke gets a little bit more skinny as I work my way up. So we have our flip-flops, We did the details up here on our pineapple. And we're going to start adding in some white highlights now. Wash my brush, give it a rinse, and go to my white. Now, if you don't have fresh white, put out some fresh white. You want your white to be really bright and fresh for this. Oh, actually, let me start with the black. So I'm going to go into my black, and I'm going to add these little lines to my tabletop. I don't know if you see picnic benches. A lot of times they're planks, and they're planked, and they have those little lines, the dividers between the boards. Okay, I'm going to get some white. If you need fresh white, go pick it up. And I'm going to come in here, and I want to just add this bright line. And this one's a little messy. I'm feathering it here. Bright line to divide my sand. Okay, where my flip-flops are stuck in the sand, and then where this light sand over here and this dark sand is. Now I'm going to come up here. I want to do my straw and my umbrella. Again, I'm using my pinky as a little bit of an anchor. And I just want to add some details to my umbrella. Some details to the leaves. A little bit of highlight to my drink and my pineapple. Not too much, just on a few of the lines. And then the same thing with my flip-flops. Just a few little highlights. I'm going to wash my brush. Going back into my white. And now I want really fresh white across the pink sections of my flip-flop. And there we have it. Let me flip you guys around. So, there you go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope you enjoy my kits, and I will see you soon. Thanks, guys.